Alright, if you're watching this from the beginning, you'll have to wait a couple of minutes. I gotta finish getting things set up, but I'm just setting this up so that we're ready to go. Alright, this will actually start in about 15 minutes. If you're watching, the show will start in about 12 minutes. Hey, I see you there. The show is going to start in a couple of minutes here. I will be right back, just finishing getting stuff set up. Let's adjust this so you can see the main star of the show here, which is happening right here. So I need to move this down or move this back. There we go. Now you see the not so attractive surroundings, but that's okay. Good enough. Can you see this? This is really the star of the show here, right? Now you can see. All right, if you are watching this, can you see the top? Can you see it? Leave me a comment. Can you see the top when I do this? Not leaving me comments. That's okay. Okay. Need a shorter platform, but you see it now? Oh, that's a little better. Like a shorter platform. I'll be back. That is exactly the same height. This is not helpful. Let's do this. I'm gonna sit on something. Better. I think we're good. All right, I'm gonna wait for a couple more people and then I will get started. I've been live for 17 minutes and haven't done anything of interest yet, but that's okay. We will get started just shortly. Oh. Like my fabulous background. It's a great backdrop, right? I have my little robot friend. He'll do a little dance anytime something exciting happens. Oh, his arm is stuck. Oh, poor little guy. His arm is stuck. Okay, that's my little robot friend. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Okay, so here's what I have. I have a magnetic platform, as such. And there's this little plastic covering. Does this stop the magnetism? No, it does not. Magnetism goes right through the plastic. But the plastic platform goes on there anyway. And I have this spinning top. It looks like this would be very, very easy. All you do is put the top on the platform, spin the top, and then, in theory, you lift up the plastic platform, and if the weight on this thing's just right, it'll float over the platform, and it should be able to float on its own. But there are a few things that can go wrong here. One thing is that the weight can be wrong, in which case it'll either fly away or it'll stay on the platform and it'll never raise up any higher. Another thing that can happen is that this might not be perfectly level. In fact, there's a good chance it's not perfectly level, in which case I need to use these little shims to send it that way or that way. Well, now we know for sure it's not level. Let's see, do I have more little weights in this box? No, I don't. They're in the other box. I'll have to go grab them if it comes to it. So this could be a difficult process, because here's the most difficult thing about this. Maybe you saw this before, or maybe not, but what can happen here is that if I let this go, I'm just gonna... It flips over, because guess what? It really, really likes the magnetism this way. It doesn't like it so much this way, but that's good. If it liked it this way, there's no way we could ever get it to float. How would we ever get it to float like that? I mean, because it would literally stick to it. It's gotta repel it, but it does make it a little bit tricky to spin. So, if you were with me last time, what you would have seen is me with a platform, spinning this top repeatedly, and every single time you saw that happen. I went on for about, it was almost 3 hours, and by the end of it I could get the top to spin, but it wouldn't spin for very long. The trouble was that the platform I had at the time was so scratched up that even if I didn't have this magnetic piece here, if I tried to spin the top, it was falling down after like 2 seconds, and that was no good. So, I'm back, and this time I've got a new platform. This is actually a new magnetic piece. This is a new top. So, what I have to do is try to get it spinning. It may take some practice. And if you see me doing something that you think is going to make this fail, let me know, and I'll try to fix it. Alright. Okay, so there's that. That might happen sometimes. So just so you know, as I do this, oh yes, I got it spinning. Second try. And it just didn't last. Alright. The tendency is really for it to flip over. This one seems to be a little easier than the other one. We'll see. We'll see. But what I was going to say is, if as you're watching this, you get tired of me spinning this thing over and over and over and over again, you are feel totally free to leave and come back. By the way, if you are... Ooh. Okay. Ah, okay, so we're not level. We've learned something. By the way, I'll be right back. This live stream is a part of the Not Attending Realm Makers Conciliatory Party. If you don't know what that is, and you're just watching because you are fans of the SnarkyPhysicist, that is the, it's a science fiction and fantasy Christian writing group that I'm a part of. It's all the way across the country and the world. We've got members in lots of different states and countries. They're meeting this weekend in St. Louis, and a lot of people weren't able to come and they're very sad, so we're all having a party where we hang out with each other online, basically. So if you are a part of that, feel free to introduce yourself. By all means, if you write books, self-promote. But some people are just going to be watching because they want to see the Levitron working, and that is fine too. So if you're just joining us, I'm getting the top spinning a little bit better than last time. Last time it was about 3 hours of me spinning the top, and every single time it just did that. I think this one might be a little easier to work, or maybe I've just learned some things. But this is always more fun if you guys interact and ask questions. Okay, we learned it wasn't completely level last time, so I know that this isn't going to work perfectly. Oh, but we're so close. Oh, see, it went that way. It went that way, did it not? It went that way. Okay, so that's what that tells me is I need to take this little piece and prop this up this way. And prop this up this way. Oh, and something happy happened, so my little robot gets to do a dance. Right? Happy little robot. Okay, that's enough of that. Okay, let's see. All right. Oh, no. By the way, I know how this works because I'm a mad scientist, but actually because it says so on the box. Okay, let's check out the box. The box says the permanent magnetic This is boring. Wow. My goodness. They could have like tried to make this entertaining. For those of you who don't know, I'm a science educator. I'm very passionate about this. If you're gonna like give some people education, like this is a children's toy. It should be entertaining. Okay. Okay, interesting. So down here we have a south pole in the middle and north poles on the sides. Actually, that makes a lot of sense. Without going too deep into it, a lot of interesting things happen when something's spinning. You end up with energy states that are a lot more. Oh, can we? Oh. When things are spinning, Noelia Silver says, nice glasses. Thank you, Noelia. Do you like my, I've also got my atoms here and here. Definitely working this. I was gonna say something. Right, so, for instance, a bicycle, right? If you're sitting on a bicycle, there's like no possible way you're gonna be able to get it to balance. But when the wheels are spinning, you kind of get this interesting situation where it doesn't, a spinning wheel doesn't really like to tilt very much, so your bicycle stays up. You get kind of a similar thing happening here, where it's in a pretty stable state, spinning, but then the most stable state for it to be in when there's these magnetic forces here, it's not gonna wanna fall. It's not really gonna wanna tilt. So if it can't fall straight down, and if it can't tilt out of the motion, you end up just getting it staying there. And it's super cool. Okay, I'm gonna keep trying to spin this thing. Okay, spinning. And... okay, still going that way. So let's prop this up a little more. It's floating though this time, so that's pretty exciting. Who do I got with me here? Leave me comments. I always like to interact with people while I'm doing these. It's much, much more fun. Oh, okay. Went forward that time. We're making progress. Except now I lost the top. Where's the top? Okay, I'll be right back. Oh, here it is. Found the top. Okay. That was close. That was close. Okay, let's move it forward. By the way, the weight on this is exactly perfect. Oh, happy robot dance. I forgot. Okay. Oh, that way. Okay. Prop it up a little more. Okay. If you are just joining us, I've gotten really close a few times here. This thing does take hours of practice. I once had a student on here asking, if I try and I get it working on the first try, can I have extra credit? You know, I really should have thought about that offer, because if I think about it, she wouldn't have gone and tried it on her first try. She would have gone home and spent hours practicing the darn thing. And maybe that was worth a couple points of extra credit if she did do that. But I don't think she ever did, because I think I told her no. I don't even remember. I don't usually give extra credit very much. Like, do the regular credit. Just study for the tests. Okay. It's like a very particular motion you have to do when you spin this, because like all the other times, if you just spin it like you're gonna spin a top, I mean, like, I have a hard time even holding it. Like, I'm trying to hold it, it just flips over. Okay. Go. And come on. Oh, it went the other way. Okay. Let's do this. I can do this. Okay, nearly. And still off that way, okay. Let's let it down, ease it down. Getting so close all these times. Happy robot dance again. Okay. And we can set this off too. Okay. At least this time I can usually spin the thing. Going off that way, so let's shim it up here. Noelia asks, is the happy robot your spirit animal? Yes. Actually, I love robots. I think robots are my spirit animal. Hey, if you're watching this and you have a spirit animal, please do leave it in the comments. What's your spirit animal? Yeah, I like robots. I realize sometimes, especially when I've been writing stories about robots, I end up kind of thinking like a robot. It's a little weird maybe, but... Oh, whoa! I stopped it from falling by lifting it up. Yeah, it likes that spinning state. Okay, going too far that way. I think tonight's the night. I think it's gonna happen tonight. Oh, okay. Lowering it back down. Okay. Okay. Okay, went off that way. Let's lower this. This is what science is all about, though. It's trial and error. It's failure and victory. Oh, went kind of that way. So a comment popped up, but it faded before I got to see it. So if you left that comment, leave it again. And still, people tell me your spirit animals. Nobody's told me their spirit animal yet. Okay. It's hard to spin this thing. Okay. Oh. Okay, going off that way, so we shim it up here. All right. By the way, just to let you know what's on this channel, if you haven't checked it out before, some of my early videos were, there's a lot of just me talking about stuff I do at the school. I talk about growth mindset, I talk about tips for getting into college. A lot of stuff that I think my students were watching. And I have a series going on this summer on quantum mechanics. I've got lots of other physics demos on this channel also. I also do physics problems, but unless you're actually like in my class, that's probably not interesting to anybody. I caught that one. That was awesome. Okay, let's lower this. No, shouldn't back up. This one doesn't have real good balance. That's one unfortunate thing. Okay, here we go. Oh, it's going in circles. Oh, that was the closest. It hovered for a second there, but then it went off this way. So if it went off this way, I need to lower this down, but just a tiny bit. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Too much. Okay. Ah. Oh, stay centered. Come on, you can do this. Whoa, it floated for a long time. That calls for a happy robot dance. Not that happy. This Levitron looks Levitron, she says. This Levitron looks easier to use than the other one. Yeah. It's a little easier to use. Having a platform that's not totally scraped up is quite nice. And having had practice spinning the top kind of a lot of times. Whoa. Helps. Okay, it's not Okay, so I loaded it back down too quick. I need to get it up a little higher. But what I'm watching for, robot, don't celebrate yet. We'll get there. What I'm watching for is something called precession. And precession, so a top spins, right? But it also sometimes kind of does this motion, and that's precession. That's when the center is kind of also making circles. So there's like rotational motion and then there's circular motion. And this is kind of doing some circular motion while it does its rotational motion. So see how it starts doing that circular motion? That's how I know I'm not quite gonna make it. When it's processing. But if I can get it not to process, it should stay. Because if it's processing, it becomes unstable. Eventually, one of those directions is going to dominate. Because remember, we're relying on the top not wanting to tilt. If it's already tilting, it's going to be fine with tilting, and then it'll just fall over. It'll either make its way out of the magnetic field, or it'll fall upside down. Okay, it's not processing too much, maybe a little bit. It is processing. And the little vibrations in my fingers can be what causes that. Okay, it's going around in circles, but yeah. So I'm not convinced that the platform is not level. I think the platform's pretty level here. I think it just becomes unstable sometimes. But we will get this. The nice thing about this top is the top of it's kind of like rough. It's got little ridges in it. So it's a little easier to spin. See how like there's these ridges carved in it. The last top I had, it was super smooth up top. What are you gonna do with that? So last time I did this, some people asked some amazing questions. They were asking stuff like, would you rather fight a horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses or something like that? If you have an answer to that one, I would love to hear it. No precession this time. It's possible it's too heavy. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a weight off of it. That will lighten this a little bit. It's not quite lifting up until it's too late and it's starting to process. Okay. Okay, it might be too late now. I'm not sure what to do about that. If it's... Wait a minute. It was floating there. I think it's time for a happy robot dance. I think we may have found the perfect weight. Okay. You can dance with me, but I can't see you dancing. Okay. It is floating. It's kind of bobbing there. Oh, okay. Now we're getting somewhere. It just flew away. It's so light now. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I took off one of the weights. I'm going to take off a lighter one and put back on this heavier one. So I took off this one. I'm now going to take off this one and put this one back on. So it's going to be some weight in between the weight that I started with and the weight that I was just trying. I think, anyway. I'm assuming that the metal's going to be heavier than plastic. Noelia is asking a ridiculous question, which is, what is the top's name? If anyone wants to name the top, I'm quite willing to hear suggestions. I think this is the right weight now. I think. Okay. No, it's processing. I love when it flies into my hand though. That is just a magical feeling. Eventually do get used to that though. You kind of get like, okay, yeah, I know where it's going. Is there a particular direction it's always flying off in? Yeah, it's always flying that way. Okay, I know what I need to do. Lower that down a little. Alright. By the way, what happens if I do this? Yeah, that doesn't work out so well. Also, there'd be no way to lift it up, so I guess that wouldn't work anyway. We did some weird calculations when I was in college for how to figure out exactly where a magnetic thing should be so that it has no force on it and stays in place. Some pretty weird stuff you can do. Now, I'm confident that tonight will be the night I get this working. I'm not completely confident about when that will be. So as I have said, you are totally free to go, you know, check back in every now and then, or to just keep watching, especially if you say hi. Since I don't know who you all are. Well, I know Noelia is here. I don't know who anybody else is. This is part of the not attending Realm Makers conciliatory party, so if you are in that camp, promote your books. There are a few people watching anyway. And they are, well, at least nerdy enough to be watching this. I want to see what you write. I write stuff, but not much for me to promote right now because I just have a couple of short stories out, and those aren't even stuff that I sell. In fact, if you go to kmdaily.com, you can find all of my short stories, and the websites they happen to be published at are free to read, so feel free. Alright, we're making some progress here. But it still wants to process. It still wants to go around in circles like it's doing right now. But I've gotten really good at catching it. So I think that's worth a robot dance. My goodness, there's gonna be like permanent footage of me doing that, isn't there? Oh well. I'm gonna have students next year who are gonna be coming in having seen me do that. The horror. Okay, okay. Okay. It might be a little too heavy. You see how it falls back down? Might be a little too heavy. Is it always going that way? Let's see if it always goes that way. Might just be an instability. It may be too heavy. See how every time it comes back? It doesn't always go that way. Okay, we have a level platform. That is good progress. We know this. We know that there's a level platform. I'm so glad that I'm not using the old Levitron. This one, so the old one was my coworker's Levitron. I think this is his son's Levitron, who's like 11 or 12 or something like that, but let's be honest, he doesn't want it. So it's either mine or mine to borrow now. Yeah. Okay, that's the right way, because it'll float. It's just floating off. So let's see if it always floats off in that direction. Wait. Okay, it doesn't always float off in that direction, but is it always going that way? Okay, that time, it's like sitting there doing its little dance and then it bounces that way, but it did a little dance, so my robot's gonna do a little dance and I'm gonna do a little dance. The one person I know who knows how to use this thing, he says he spent a week. But I don't think he spent a 3-hour session, like just sitting and learning how to spin it. And that I did before I came in today. Now there are a few demos I do for class that take a lot of practice. There's one where I have a playing card sitting on my finger, and I put like a penny on top of the playing card. And I flick out the card from under the penny and it stays on my finger. That one, I stayed after school one day for about an hour to practice, and every year I spend about 15 minutes refreshing myself so that I can do it again. I don't know if any of my students are watching. Do you remember that demo? Are you guys watching? I don't know. There were a couple who were watching at the beginning. They kind of commented. They're like, oh, hi, Miss Daly. But I think they're seniors now. Or graduated. If they graduated, then they can just call me KM. Okay. So I'm working in a laser lab this summer. I've been documenting my experiences with that also, which has been kind of fun. It's I'll be totally honest, it's a tough area of research. You have to be very, very patient. You have to be willing to try things over and over again. But there's some really cool stuff you can do. So if you're interested in that area of science with lasers, you can check out those videos. Those are on my channel. Yeah, in about a month I will have been vlogging for a year. That's a crazy thought to me. It's been a good year. It's been interesting. It's a different kind of experience. Do I have any other vloggers watching? Do you vlog? Leave me a comment, I'll check out your channel. Once this is over, of course, I kind of gotta finish this. I don't know how long it'll take, but if I have to be here all night, I will. See, I am, for those of you watching, if you're a Realmy watching, I'm in California. Oh, that was the longest time yet. I think it's time for a robot dance. He's so happy. Look how happy he is. If there are any Realmies watching, yeah, I'm in California. I'm super near San Francisco. There we go. Not totally stable, but it's floating. I'm just gonna keep on playing with it. I would say it works now, but I'm gonna keep playing with it and just see how long I can get it to stay. Because I know, like, you can get it indefinitely. You know what I never did? What did I never do? I never read the instructions on this one. Ha! What do they say? Put us on a flat face on an even keel. Patience is essential. Try it again. This is funny. Try again carefully, using strength properly. The flying disc will wheel. And it'll be easier if you press the flying disc when you this is a bad translation. When you wheeling. Wheelie? Flying disc being, after the flying disc being wheeling, check whether the center line of it is vertical with level. Okay. Okay. Let's try this again. Because we've gotten it to float, just not for a long, long time. Now, this is much better than the last time I did this, because the last time, 1.5 seconds. Okay. Now, it's still flying off to the side. I don't... Here's the thing about the correct weight. It can shift from day to day. It can shift from minute to minute. I don't even get how that happens. I know, I'm the snarky physicist. I should know. But I don't. Not to know things. Okay. By the way, you like my stuff over here? I've got some toys. I'll go ahead and take a break and show you my toys. So I've got this little guy that spins around. It always stays on its little track no matter what you do to it, which is kind of fun. I've got my magnetic hourglass here, which is kind of fun. So I have a video about this, but maybe you can see there. Alright, anyway. I'll go for a little longer. Spinning it is like the sound of a match. I agree. Kind of does sound like a match being struck or something like that. No. Alright, I have to go find it. Like, not even breathing. Let's keep going. So that's what science is. You fail and you try again. what principles is this demonstrating? How does this work? I think I talked about it a little bit before, but those of you just joining us, so what this is showing, there's some different magnetic poles going on this platform, and different magnetic poles going on here. You can tell that the platform is repelling the top because if I let it go, it flips over. Really, really doesn't like that. And it takes a lot of practice to be able to spin it just right. Now, there's certain stabilities that are displayed by an object that's spinning. You notice this by the fact that if you're riding your bike, if you're just sitting on your bike, there's no way you can get it to balance, right? You're gonna fall. That's just every time. But when your wheels are turning and when you're moving forward, you can stay on your bike. This is because when something's spinning, it doesn't love to tilt. Unless it's got, like this sometimes gets this precession, where on top of spinning like this, it kind of goes around like this. Spinning things do like to keep spinning. It takes some amount of force to get them to tilt. This one obviously doesn't want to come straight back down. And when it's spinning, if it's in that stable state, it doesn't really want to tilt. So the nice thing then is that the most stable thing for it to do is just to stay there, floating in midair, spinning. Now when you've got something sitting on a platform like this, there's some amount of friction with the platform, which robs it of energy and makes it eventually come to a stop. But in theory, if I can get it in just the right place, it will spin forever. Not forever, there's still friction with the air resistance and all that stuff. And I'm having a hard time getting this to not precess, but I think that called for a happy robot dance. Everybody happy robot dance with me. Let's do this. Okay. Happy robot dance. I like my happy robot. He is my spirit animal. What's your spirit animal? If you're watching me, tell me what your spirit animal is. Man, it just doesn't want to stop processing. It really wants to bounce like that. This magnetic field is not too terribly strong either. That is one problem with this. With the other Levitron I was using before, it was a very, very strong field, which made it a lot harder to spin. This one is much easier to spin. We can make this happen. We will make this happen. It is really cool to watch it float though, even if it doesn't stay for too long. I may even try my other Levitron. Might do that. Oh, okay, flew away, gotta go get it. If you are watching this, we are demonstrating principles of angular momentum and magnetism. I also brought my little robot friend to celebrate even the small victories, because you got to. It's very important. Have you tried turning it off and on again? I could try putting it back in the box and then taking it back out again. Thank you for that very helpful suggestion. By the way, this is a part of the not attending Realm Makers conciliatory party. If you don't know what that is, that's okay. Don't worry about it. It's a writing group. They're all meeting in Missouri this weekend, and a lot of us weren't able to go, including me. Ended up being all right, but some of us are sad, so we're all kind of meeting up here and putting on live videos for each other. So if you are one of those people, by all means do feel free to leave a comment, tell us who you are, tell us what you write. We'd love to see links to stuff that you write, because I'm curious who's watching. If you happen to be a vlogger also, please do leave me a link to your channel. I'd love to check it out. If you're somebody else watching and you have a question for me, a suggestion for how to get this working better, or if you want to tell me what your spirit animal is, please do so. Always fun. Okay, it's starting to go off that way a lot. Are you going to show this in class next year? Oh, are you a future student, Rodney? And the answer is absolutely, if I can get it to work. But if I spend this much time practicing to get a demo to work, I'm now up to 4 hours of practice on this demo. If I spend 4 hours trying to get a demo to work. Past student. Oh. Okay. What year were you, Rodney? I don't think I had you in class unless you're going by a pseudonym. Maybe you're not watching anymore. Yeah, we try to show this in class, but sometimes at 2016, 17. Oh, okay. Okay. So that was my first year of teaching. Were you in physics, honors physics? Who did you have? If you were. I think there might be a little bit of a lag between when people say stuff and when I get it. Actually, I do know that there's a lag between when I say stuff and when people hear me. Honors physics. Okay, so you were with Mr. Cottrell? That's my guess. He's the only other one that teaches honors physics. He's fantastic. I had him. He is, well, in so many ways, I would not be sitting here today if it weren't for him. Because, for one thing, I wouldn't have this Levitron. I wouldn't have studied physics in college. I wouldn't be working at Cache Valley High at all. I wouldn't be teaching physics at all. Man, so many ways in which I would not be here if it weren't for Mr. Cottrell. I don't think he's watching this, though. Rodney, if you're still watching, what was your favorite unit during honors physics? If you remember. I know it was a while ago. Well, not that long ago, never mind. That one just flew at me. Oh, that was the longest one, though. Okay, robot dance. Okay. Liked relativity. Yeah, that is the most commonly reported favorite, and technically if you look at the standards, we don't even have to talk about relativity, but it's everybody's favorite, so Why would you cut out the thing that's everybody's favorite, you know? It's my favorite too. I love relativity. It's the one time of the year when if everybody in the room's not shouting something at me, shouting, "No! I hate this! Stop!" then I know I'm doing something wrong. That's an exciting time. Okay, now it is consistently going that way, so I know I can tilt it the other way. Oh, I totally just tilted it the wrong way. The fact that it's always going that way, and I tilted it to more go that way, didn't I? Yeah, I did. Silly, silly me. Ah, my top flew away. It happens. Now it's going that way, but not consistently. Let me try this. Let me try the other side. Oh, that side's like really rough. I don't think that's gonna work. Let me just give it a couple more tries just to be fair. You know, I like the other side better. It feels easier to me. So, the thing I have learned this year is I have learned to fail. And it comes in a lot of forms. That comes in the form of being willing to say, with no qualifications, with no excuses, with no mitigations, no other statements at all, just the 3 words, "I was wrong." Turns out they're very freeing words. With it also comes well, the other thing that has happened to make me learn this is I embarked on a journey this year for my writing to be rejected 100 times in 2018. Maybe some of those who are watching this know that. But I am up to 54 rejections this year. I'll make a future video talking more about that and talking about that process of writing and being rejected and But what it's taught me to do is fail and try again. And the hard thing about that is being able to write something, put it out there, get a rejection, and then if I want to make my goal, in order to even have time in 2018 to make that goal, I have to send it out again pretty much that day. I gotta find a new person to send it to and send it again. Whatever I just sent, you know. Usually it's a short story. And that was the hard part. And I found that failing and being rejected didn't exactly become less painful with time. The pain didn't exactly become less. It just became more predictable. You knew exactly, well, I know exactly how it feels, how it's going to feel to get a rejection letter. So when it comes in, I just kind of know exactly what to expect. And I kind of just go on to the next one. It's like, okay, it's cool. It's the same kind of thing right here. I know exactly what I'm doing with this. And every time it falls, it's just like, let's do it again. So I can't just put it away. But I'll make a video about that sometime. Probably close to the end of the year though, when hopefully by then I'll have had my 100 rejections come in. That was a pretty good long one. I think that's deserving of a robot dance. What do you think? He's kind of fun when he actually sits on a surface. Let me just do that real quick. Because he kind of bops back and forth. Processing though. That's not so good. It's consistently going that way, so let's whoa. That's okay. That was a good long one, though. Ah. Oh, stop processing. It kind of bounces, though. The instructions don't say what to do if it bounces. It's Tommy the Top, and when it floats, it can be the ghost of Tom. The ghost of Tom is this choir warm-up thing we used to do in, like, middle school, I think. It was a little weird, actually very weird, pretty creepy. Whoa. Oh, that was the longest one. That was the longest one. Okay. Robot dance. Oh, I bound up his legs. Poor little robot. And there we go. It floats for a while now. Each time it seems like it does float for a little longer. Not every single time, but like the general trend is. Like that time it wasn't as long, right? But the general trend seems to be towards longer float times. And then sometimes that happens. Well, that was a long time. That was a good long float time. I don't get it though. My coworker who can do this makes it float indefinitely. It floated for about 10 minutes. Okay, that was cool. That was long enough for me to look up at the camera. You can do it, Top. You can do it, Tommy the Top. Okay, this has just gotten really fun, actually. Was it cool enough to have been worth 4 hours of practicing? I don't know. But when I was doing the first video, I told my students it was for them. I told them I had been planning on learning how to use the thing and showing it in class, and then I'd never gotten around to it, and so I was going to go live to show it to them. And a lot of them came by and left comments, and it was a good time. You're processing, Top. That's not what I want you to do. Yeah, it's not as stable as I would like it to be. I don't think I'll be able to get it to stay for 10 minutes. But I can get it to stay for a bit. That deserves a robot dance. Robot stuck. The robot works every time. I'd love to be able to make a wind-up toy. That would be so cool. Hi. Alright, that's the longest I have gotten it working. I'm gonna just go grab the other Levitron, just for the heck of it. I'll be back. I'm pulling out the other Levitron, just for the heck of it. Why not? Let's just see how this one works. Okay. It was a much stronger magnetic field, but now that I've kind of got the hang of this one, I'm wondering if I can get this other one to work. So, I'm going to put this one aside. I'll pull out this thing. Yeah, the two Levitrons are not friends with each other. They are friends with nobody. They hate everybody. Okay. Come on. You can work with me, can't you? Come on. You can be my friend. So this is a different Levitron. I'm just gonna see what happens with this one. Why not? Maybe I can use the other top on this one, but maybe not. Oh, this one is way harder to work with. Okay, I get it now. Okay, there we go. No! Oh yeah, this surface, super scratched up. I wonder if I can use this platform, but probably not, because the problem is that this is like a really strong magnetic field. Like, I can barely hold this still. So if I try to do this, like, whoa. Also, it needs to be up higher. So maybe if I do like something like this, I don't know. Whoa. It kind of floated for a second there. Maybe I can do this, though. No, it needs to be up higher for sure. And I can't quite do that, unfortunately. I did put a piece of tape across here, but it wasn't really enough. And getting it to spin for a long time, now that's really hard with this one. We're starting this again. Yep, this is how it is. Spinning the top over and over again in the very, very, very strong magnetic field. This is why this Levitron is the one that works, because it's got a really strong magnetic field. So I'm going to spin this a few times. Looks like every 10 times or so I'll be able to get it spinning. Just observe the intensity of this. Look at that! Look at that! Nothing like that with the other top. Where's the other top? Where is my top? Here it is. Well, this one, let's see. Is it the field or is it the top itself? I think it might be the top itself. Oh, see, that one I can get going. Oh, this might work. Oh, you can see it hitting all those little rough patches. Let me take down the weight of this guy. I think I might have found a winning combination. You use the top from one of the Levitrons and the platform from the other Levitron, and that might be a winning combination. Let's see. This one also floats a little higher, if you can get it floating. Oh, it really doesn't want to float. Okay, I'm going to take off the last weight, and if I can't... don't know. Don't know. No, this one won't float. Yeah, this one won't float. Okay. So I try to get this one floating. Platform might be a little too rough. And this guy is way too heavy. That is a problem. Oh, I should probably not mix up these weights, huh? Okay, let's stick it back on there. That happens too. I'm still better at spinning this thing than I have been. Oh, that flies right off. Okay. I'll put another little weight on there. So I've got these little plastic ones. Oh, look at this teeny little plastic one. Let's try that. Tiny little plastic guy. There's like a little green plastic weight on there. Okay, let's do this again. Oh. Come on now. You gotta cooperate with me. This one, though. This one just doesn't want to cooperate. From experience, these things are super tricky and finicky. Keep going. I will do that. I don't know if I want to try bothering with this one, though. It's really, the surface is not a fun one to work with. I don't know if I want to go on for 3 hours tonight, though. If you want to just get a reference point, if you didn't see part 1, go check out part 1. Just like, go to about like the 20th minute and just click and see how bad this was then, and you will see how far I've come. If you saw part 1, you don't need to do that. 'Cause you know. That was happening every time. There's a plastic piece you can put in here to smooth out the bottom anytime you rough it up too much. And anytime a single person learns how to use it, it definitely becomes way too rough to put the plastic piece down. But when I went to try to put it on, the adhesive had worn to the paper. It like melted to the paper. And I was kind of laughing a little because, yeah, of course it melted to the paper. It was like 20 years old. This is part of the not attending Realm Makers conciliatory party. So if you are in that camp, by all means introduce yourself, tell me what you rate. And promotion is encouraged. Self-promotion, that is. Or promotion of other people, I guess. I mean, we're a pretty encouraging community, usually. Well, it's always pretty sad when we don't get to go, don't get to meet up with each other. Everybody's in Missouri, but that's pretty much like over now. I guess the conference is basically over. But our party's still going on. You know, I think I hate this one. I don't think I'm going to be able to get it to spin for very long with this platform being in the shape that it's in. If there was some way I could combine the two setups, that would be great. Maybe. Let's just try this. Why not? Oh, right. This one's such a strong field that I can't actually do this. It'll just go all over the place. Oh, now it's stuck. It says so close, but believe me, that was not anything like close. I mean, it's not... It's just kind of going wherever it wants to go, and I can't hold it, and the top just floated so far away that I can't even see it anymore. It like went under a table. I'm gonna try with the other one again. This one's just frustrating me. It is not worth it to me. Even though this one, you know, has a hard time holding stable, but at least it'll float, you know? Let's just get it floating real nice. One last good time. A good time, that is. Oh, the shims are gone. That's a problem. Ha ha ha, of course. We'll just do another one where I can get the plastic out and look at the camera before it floats away. And then that will be the end of this video. Nope, not quite. All right. Oh, that's a good one. Okay, that was a really nice one. Let's do a robot dance. Okay. I think that's it for us. That it doesn't float for 10 minutes, but it'll float for 10 seconds, 10 good long seconds. That is some pretty good progress. That is something that is cool enough that I'd be quite willing to show my students. Though it might take me a few tries there. Maybe I'll just invite them here. Anyway, like this video if you liked it. If you want to see future videos, this summer I'm doing my series on quantum mechanics, on the laser research I'm doing. My sister and I have been doing some videos where we improvise some stories, and that's been pretty fun. Coming up in the school year, I'll probably announce this later on my page, but I'm gonna do some videos on how to build some stuff, like speakers and